Okay, so I'm getting a lot of questions lately about why, a lot of comments about my use of Linux. A lot of people want to know, why am I switching to Linux? Took some time, but I did manage to come up with 10 reasons why. Keep in mind that this is an opinion piece. If you cannot handle something that is a different opinion, I might suggest clicking on the X over there somewhere. Anyway, so reason number one, I wanted to. 34 years old, and I can do what I want to do. Anyway, but seriously, that's number one reason. I wanted to switch. I've used Linux before. I wanted to keep trying it out. Reason number two would be performance. Systems like my main laptop is a third generation i7 with a weird AMD graphics card that is running like crap. I mean, it just the main problem with it is the graphics chip. The third gen i7 itself is plenty powerful for Windows 10, but it just runs like crap on it. I tried all of your normal tactics, reinstall Windows, buying a different SSD, because I had already had an SSD in it. Reinstall Windows. I ran a declutter script that a guy named Titus. I'm gonna try to link his information in the bottom somewhere. He provided, and like if I'm watching Windows or watching videos on, I've tried Chrome, Firefox, Brave browser. Actually, wait, did I try Brave on Windows? I don't think I tried Brave on Windows. I didn't know about that one yet. Tried Edge, Explorer. They all had the same problem. I couldn't even watch videos in 1080p 60, and 720 chugged along as well. Hell, there were times I could barely watch videos at 480p. And I put Linux Mint on a spinning drive, which I might have here somewhere. No, actually I don't. On a regular laptop hard drive. And I was really shocked that it ran a lot faster. So I put it on an SSD, and that was even better. It runs fantastic. Even the computer I'm on right now, I actually have Linux Mint on a 1 gig spinning drive, and with that, it's actually running faster than Windows did on the Crucial SSD that's in it. Actually, the Crucial SSD was put in there because I thought my Kingston SSD now drive was dying. Turns out it was just Windows being problematic. And now to number three. I've always enjoyed running and tinkering with Linux. It should not surprise anybody watching this video that I'm a big nerd, right? Anyway, back in my day, there was G4 TV. It was actually called Tech TV, and there was a show called The Screensavers. And I remember on one of the videos, I think it was Patrick Norton. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Patrick Norton. Sorry, my elbow's sore. Was playing with Ubuntu, and he was talking about how they would mail you CDs for free. So I, type up Ubuntu, how do I get these for free? And found their website, and it started messing with it not long after, because I ordered the CDs every time they came out with a new version. And so not long after that, I started messing with different distributions. Like there was a weird one called Lindows, which I think is now called Linspire. But because I enjoyed this so much, I would distro hop. I'd get one thing that works, and then I'd go to something else, and this one doesn't work. I'd mess with that till it would kind of work, and then jump to another one. And, because of that, I ran into a lot of issues with compatibility and other quirks. I'm like, man, Linux, it's fun to play with, but, Windows, Windows is what works for me. So, I guess that's the price you pay to play, but that jumps right into reason number 4. And it's that I'm starting to feel like, for me at least, Windows is at a point where Linux is at a point where I can run it every day and not have a problem. Like, I've been running, right around Thanksgiving is when I went full-time Linux Mint on my laptop. And my laptop is actually what I use day to day. I don't use the computer here as often. And, so, but I had a lot, like I said before, I had a lot of compatibility issues in the past, and it's like, this is my primary laptop is an HP EliteBook 8470p. It's a 3rd gen i7 with some weirdo graphics, AMD graphics in it that sucks. I'll just be blunt. Now, back when I had my GT430, I kept trying different versions of Linux, like, what's the name of that one I was running for a while? It was very Windows-esque. Do I have it anywhere in my notes anywhere? I do not. Oh, Zorin, Z-O-R-I-N, Zorin Linux. That's not in my notes, but I actually have notes for once in one of my videos. I could not get HDMI audio out of that, so I tried Mint, tried Ubuntu, just basic Ubuntu. I tried a bunch of different distributions. Everybody's like, well, maybe, if this doesn't do this, try this. I ran these different scripts that they would tell me to run, and I could just never get it going. And the HDMI ran fine. I had the proper resolutions and everything. It ran so nice. But at that time, I was living in the apartment I was living in. I wanted to run. I had a 40-foot HDMI cable to go around to my TV, and I wanted that to work, so it would actually pass sound through to my surround sound receiver, and then, obviously to my speakers. And I just could never get it to work. And so right now, the machine I'm on right now is a 4th generation Intel. It's an i7 4790K. And I have a EVGA NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti FTW in here. Sound works perfect. I have a little TV over there, which is actually to my left. I think it looks like I'm pointing right, but I'm not. This is my left arm. This is my right arm. So, and that works perfect. From my laptop, I can get DisplayPort audio out just fine, no problems. So I'm really starting to think that it's getting to the point where I can use it. I can use it 100% just fine. Now, for reason 4, what did I already do 4? I already did 4. So reason 5, which goes along with reason 4. Reason 4, or reason 5 is going to go along with reason 4, and this is 100% my experience, and this is my own opinion. This is just my opinion on my experience using this platform. Get that out of the way. Most of the times, like I said, I'm aware this is not going to be true for every. Most of the times I've tried Linux, I have found myself wishing it would do something that Windows would do. For example, where am I at here? Okay, so yeah, that's a little further down in my notes. Okay, for example, the HDMI audio issue I mentioned. But since I've been on Linux Mint this time, I don't find myself missing Windows at all. In fact, whenever I'm on Windows, I find myself missing Linux, which is crazy. Excuse me, I gotta take a sip of water. And this is water, just water. Now, I haven't really ran into anything. There's a couple issues I guess I can go ahead and, yeah, I'm looking at my bullet points behind me here. I will mention, like, with my wife, she plays a game called Guild Wars. Guild Wars 2 to be exact. There's no easy way to run it in Linux. I've tried it on Wine. Doesn't work well. But in my particular case, I have not found anything that I can't do. Now, obviously, with a YouTube channel, I often do video editing. I have found KDN Live to be a very nice editing software. But aside from content creation, I mainly do consumption. So for the most part, I'm just using it to watch Netflix, watch YouTube, and the few games I do have because I do have a Steam library on here of about 4 or 5 games, and oftentimes there's most of the time they have better frame times. Like, I'll find it where, like, yeah, with Windows it would bog down. Like, most of the time it'd be 60 frames per second or whatever, or over 60 frames, but it would bog down to like 30, 40. But more often than not, it's staying above 60 frames per second, whereas it did not before. Now, I'm aware that not every game has full compatibility with Linux, and the same with software. Ooh, I am sorry about that. I did not realize it was going to make that kind of noise. 6. Reason 6. This one's going to be pretty easy, or pretty quick. Not a fan of Microsoft trying to force Windows 10 on everybody, which, actually I don't really care that they're trying to force Windows 10 on everybody, but they are trying to force as many people into the Windows Store, or the Microsoft Store. And, like, I do believe you should be running the most up-to-date software. But they're trying to force everybody into their store rather than promoting a secure and stable platform. So I'm not saying that Windows 10 is not stable, because it really is. Actually, Windows 10, with the exception of the issues that I've been having, is very, very stable. As far as security goes, I'll discuss that next. Windows 10, or reason 7, will be privacy. This is going to be another quick section. I'm not a fan of all the personal information that Microsoft's collecting and selling, or at least giving to whoever they want to go. On top of that, many will say that you can turn that off or opt out, but other evidence has proven that's not really true. So you're ending up in a situation where you have your information going out to God knows who, and God knows what information they're collecting. And it's a whole bunch of, hey, there's a cat in my background. There's a whole bunch of just information that's going God knows where. 7. Or actually, no, I just did 7, didn't I? Reason 8. Viruses and malware. Most people that write viruses for Linux, they're not going after the average user. They're going after servers, not your average computers. So for the most part, you can run Linux 100% virus free without a problem, or and also without a virus scan. And because you're not running a virus scan, you also have the added performance from not having that run around in the background. Oh, cool, we're up to 9 already. That actually came up pretty quick. 9 would be Linux is fun. Linux is fun to use because there's so many different crazy things you can do. You don't believe me, look at a list of some of these weird, these are some of your strange distributions. You have Poseidon for scientists, Uber student, which is for students, Vinix, which is a visually impaired ones. There's a I guess they discontinued it. One that was all for Muslims, one for Christians, one for Satan worshippers. There was Hannah Montana Linux. There was this one here that I can't pronounce for manga fans. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong as well. There was also one called Justin Bieber Linux. Miley Cyrus is on there, and they all started out as Ubuntu, and so you could literally take a Ubuntu kernel and just make it whatever the heck you want, and that's pretty cool. I like that. So let's go back to the list. Oh, sorry, wrong button. So number 10 is it can be tailor-made to be whatever you want. Actually, I think I just basically said that you can, and that doesn't just mean that you're stuck with the way it. Oh, wait, hold on. Just because you choose a Linux distribution does not mean you're stuck with the way it looks. If you look at those crazy ones, they all started out as. Oh, actually, apparently I did number 10 already. They all started out as Ubuntu, which is all. I think Ubuntu is all Debian. Debian. Which I think was actually named after somebody named Debbie, so I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong. But in conclusion, I had my reasons for switching to Linux, and you don't have to agree with my choices. I just ask that you respect them. Linux isn't for everybody. I get that, but I do think the average person on the internet right now would be better off on Linux, and I can give you a very good example. My grandmother, she is 80? 1939 is when she was born. So let me pull up a calculator here. Yeah, mine is. She is 80. I just wanted to make sure I was correct. I'm good with computers, I'm not good with math. So, she has an HP desktop. It's a Pentium dual core. It's from like 2007. It's a older computer. I got 3 or 4 calls from her over the course of the last couple of years. My computer's coming up with this problem. You boot her computer up and it says that it's been seized by the government. And that's BS, but actually apparently this is the 4th time it happened to her. It happened to her once before, and she told me that she paid this $200 to get it. To get her computer back. And she called, and I told her, I said, if that ever happens again, call me. So I get a call from her. My computer's doing that thing again. So I go over there with a USB stick with Windows 7 on it. Put Windows 7 on it. And then it did the update to Windows 10, and everything was fine. And I get another call, and then I get another call. So I said, you know what, Grandma? I said, this time I'm going to do something different. It's going to take a little bit of learning. I said, you're going to have to learn something new. She says, okay. Sorry, I am playing with a screw and a wire cap. I should probably not be doing that right underneath the microphone. So I put Linux Mint on there, and it runs pretty good on her system. It actually runs pretty good. And so I showed her the different programs, because she uses a lot of stuff with the all the grandchildren's photos and great grandchildren's photos. So I show her the alternatives. She's like, okay. So a couple months later, I go back, with my son. I'm like, so how's the computer going? She goes, I haven't had any issues. In fact, that was the easiest thing to learn that I've ever had to learn. So Linux is not hard. I guess this is a bonus one. I guess this is a bonus. Why did I switch? I mean, because I was able to successfully switch my 80-year-old grandmother to Linux Mint and not get a phone call, hey, how do I do this? And I don't have to worry about her screwing it up. That's big. But I get it. Linux is not for everybody, but I think the average person that is on the internet right now, where all they do is they go on Facebook, go on YouTube, go on Netflix, maybe do a little bit of video editing or photo editing, I think they would be fine. They would be just fine on Linux. But anyway, I really appreciate you listening to me ramble for a few minutes. Actually, 20 minutes to be exact. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day. And please like, comment, and subscribe.